Oh, yes, indeed. Hey, baby, you are now rocking with the best bro, Parrish and Jesse Holley. Bleav in Cowboys, all brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Hey, Jesse, it's a good day today. I know you feeling good.
It's an absolute good day today. It's Friday, it's payday, and we are one day away from the first preseason game for the Dallas Cowboys. So we can put all that chitter chatter to the side. We don't have to hear about coach talking this and practice film this, and it's just practice that. We get to see the real thing, sort of, kinda, on Saturday. And so we'll talk more about some of the things that we want to see in that preseason game. But I am excited that we're closer to having some real football for the Dallas Cowboys.
One thing we are not closer to is, well, we don't know if we're closer to it or not. How we always start the show, Micah Parsons he's not been paid yet. He does not have a new contract, but maybe this is a sign. For the first time in training camp, he was not present on Thursday. Neither was Jerry Jones. That led to some speculation that maybe those two are off somewhere, maybe along with perhaps his agent negotiating a deal. Any thoughts on Micah being absent along with Jerry Jones?
Man, I just hope the absence was worthy of it, right? Like, I hope that there was something that was being done in the interim of that absence. And I do hope, because what we don't need anymore is we don't need any more Micah Jerry conversations. Like, that part, we know that we don't need anymore. What we need is, because Jerry has said it openly, that he doesn't handle contracts and he doesn't talk to agents and the principals. What we need is agent and whoever is handling contract people talking. Jerry can be present, Micah can be present, but whatever their conversation is, maybe it gets us relationally closer to a deal. But the two people who have nothing to do with contracts talking does us no good on getting this deal done. This is how we got in this place in the first place. You two talking, y'all two talking outside of both of you having your representation there that were able to get contracts done has led us down this bickering, petty road because Jerry thinks this is 1989, and just because we talk and we write things down on a Chipotle napkin, that it's supposed to be Bible and it's supposed to be, contractually binding. That's got us here in the first place. So I'm hoping that if there's conversation, that there is there's agents on FaceTime, on conference call, on Zooms, or whatever it is that they're using, that we can get to a resolution sooner rather than later. Because, honestly, we're getting into the danger zone, in my opinion, when you start talking about a player getting the necessary reps that he needs, conditioning himself, his body, building the calluses, all that thing. Because I'll say this 100 times: you only get in football shape by doing football things. That you have to play football to get in football shape. So and anybody that works out, I'm an avid person that works out, and I work out 3 to 4 times a week. But I can work out 3 to 4 times a week, and I'm not nowhere near working out the way that I did when I played. I'm just trying to keep the vanity looking good. That's it, right?
To maintain. That's all you do.
But if I stop for a month, I've been working out religiously for the last 15 years. Let me stop for a month. All that goes out the window. And when I try to pick it back up again, I got to start at the bottom and work myself back up again, despite me doing this for such a very long time. So for Micah I don't see him on the field doing football conditioning. I don't see him on the field leaning up against another 300-pound dude and all that kind of stuff. So we're creeping to the danger zone with Micah not being on the field and having himself ready, physically for week 1 of the football season.
The only thing we've seen Micah Parsons do on the football field so far is have conversations with the media and conduct himself as a coach at times when it comes to running certain drills. So listen, we know how it goes with high performance athletes. You hate to see things happen like soft tissue issues, but those things happen when you don't have the calluses, as you mentioned, build up playing football, having the pads on, having your body used to consistently banging up against other bodies. It's a collision sport. You have to have those collisions and be used to it. You can't just walk out on the field.
No, you're absolutely right. Football is a 100% hurt business. And that's the thing. Once you enter training camp, you ask any football player, I enter in 100% healthy. After the first week or two, something's hurting. Something's hurting. That's when we get the old adage of, are you hurt or are you injured? Right? Hurt, everybody's hurt. Everybody's hurt. You get used to the hurt. You get used to that lingering pain that goes through your body, and you work yourself through it. Injuries are the things that you got to kind of sit down and take some time for recovery. But the hurt part is getting your body used to it. And for Micah, we know that he is a guy who loves football. I've never doubted the love for football that Micah has had. That is clear, that is evident on who he is and what he does. But I also know that Micah likes to go 100 miles an hour. And if for a high performance athlete, if your body isn't conditioned and set up for you to be able to go from nothing to, because if we're talking about this thing, persisting and getting to week 1 of the season where, where game checks could potentially be missed, I don't think Mike is going to want to miss game checks. But if he decides to play, I'm not going to do anything to the week 1 of this deal, now you're talking about him going through maybe 2 days of real practice during the week and then a game. And you're going to get a game against a very, very, very high level opponent in the Philadelphia Eagles. It's a division rival. You hate them. They hate you. That even amps it up another degree of intensity. So you just, a player just has to get himself ready for that. That's why I'm saying, man, I hope this conversation that they're having or had or speculated to have is one that is nearing to the contract being finalized and done, so that we can get past this thing, man, and get this player, this high-performing athlete, into the fold so that he is ready to play. Because if there's any indication on what the Cowboys are defensively from their practice against the Rams, you need Micah Parsons more than you ever have.
Oh, yeah. And we know how dominant a player Micah Parsons is. They had him on the roster last year, and the defense was close to being trashed last season. And again, you talk about levels in that first game against Philadelphia. We're less than a month away. Everything that you mentioned on top of a team that just came out of a Super Bowl, who is going to be raising the banner on that night. So the level of intensity, and its opening night on the road in Philadelphia, where all the fans in Philadelphia know how to show the Cowboys, coaches, players, and fans all the love in the world, because it's the city of brotherly love. So there's going to be a different level of intensity all around in that game.
Yeah.
However, we got to stop because we still got weeks of preseason to go. I know that you're excited because, again, the preseason is about to start. Game 1, you're on your way. You're about to head out to the West Coast. And we just saw the Rams and the Cowboys going at it in practice. We're going to see them in SoFi on Saturday night. And Joe Milton, they call him Bazooka Joe because of that cannon, that rocket of an arm that he has. We're going to get the chance to see him for the first time in the Cowboys uniform start. The last time we saw him, he was doing backflips for the New England Patriots, making sure they didn't get that high draft pick, making some people happy, making some people upset. But he is a player. So when we're looking at Joe Milton, he's been impressive so far in training camp. What do you see from number 10?
Well, the thing that I want to see from Joe Milton is consistency. We get it, Bazooka Joe. We know that you can throw the ball a country mile. You can throw it from one knee. You can throw it from no knees. You can do backflips. We can do all these things. But the thing that we have consistently talked about when it comes to Joe Milton is consistency. Yes, every play is not going to be a 70-yard bomb. It's just not. That's just not a realistic thing. That just doesn't happen every single day. But what we have to see with Joe Milton is his progression, his maturation as a quarterback, being able to read through the defense and understanding where's my first read, my second read, my third read, where's my check down at. We watched, I don't know if, it's been on the internet all day long, but we watch a third-year quarterback in Richardson from the Colts miss a defensive assignment and got his head knocked off, broke his pinky, and I don't know how long he'll be out. But those are things that you want to see young quarterbacks be able to identify. So for Joe Milton, I get the Bazooka Joe stuff, and maybe he'll have a highlight throw, but that's not what I'm looking at. The football player in me is looking at, hey, Joe, can you throw the 5-yard out route with consistency? Joe, can you throw the 12-yard comeback with consistency, the 12-yard out route, the 18-yard comeback with consistency? Can you throw the routes or guys on the move? Can you not hold the ball too long back there in the pocket and create sacks, right? Can you get the ball out of your hands to your playmakers? These are the things that a football player, a quarterback has to be able to do to survive in this league. Everything can't be a scramble. Everything can't be a tuck it and run. Everything can't just be 70-yard bombs. What? All right, cool. We got that part. We got the bombs part. Can we consistently do all the stuff in the middle that makes you an NFL caliber starting quarterback? So that's what my eyes will be looking forward to see when it comes to Joe Milton, because I know the other stuff. I know the highlight stuff, but the consistency for me is going to be paramount when it comes to Joe Milton. Just making the easy throws, man. Like, just make the easy throws, make the easy reads. Don't complicate this thing. We're talking about this being a vanilla situation, offensively, defensively, that you're not looking through a lot of different things, but ID in the Mike linebacker, being able to see if there are some hots and some sights, being able to get the ball out to your playmakers quick and early and decisively. So those are the things that Joe Milton should be trying to put on display in this preseason game, number 1 against the Rams.
Of course, we're going to be looking forward to that. Parrish and Jesse Holley, Bleav in Cowboys, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Now, I have to know this because obviously we know about on the field, making the reads, making the smart play. But what about when it comes to galvanizing your teammates? It seems like, at least from what I've seen so far, he seems to have guys rallying around him. They seem to be rooting for him. He seems to be very popular amongst his teammates. What about that aspect when it comes to the other things outside of the plays that happen on the field?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ro. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like,
Okay.
like galvanize us. You know, we're in the foxhole with you, but you got to make plays. You have to make the winning plays, because as a receiver, and I know that we get the diva label and everything's always about us and everything is always, but I'm not out there running cardio routes. I don't want to be out there running for the love of the game because you back there holding the ball too long, right? Like, offensive linemen, hey, dog, you making us look bad because you back there not in the pocket, releasing the pocket too long, not truly understanding how our protection is broken down, and you getting a sack, and now everyone is saying, oh, look at that offensive line. They gave up another sack, and the offensive line is like, that sack ain't on us, right? He's supposed to be inside the pocket and stay inside the pocket. We're blocking for him to be inside the pocket, but he's outside the pocket in 2.2 seconds. That ain't on us. He ran himself into a sack. So the galvanizing part is great, and that all is fine and all is dandy and is all is well. But when we go out here, jobs are on the line. The galvanizing ain't on the line, okay? We're all out here in these preseason games, the second and third string and bubble guys, we're out here to get jobs. So as a quarterback, help us help you. We're out here to help each other, galvanize us to employment. You feel what I'm saying? Like, let us be able to do what we have to do so that at some point in time, they look at this film and they go, these are the guys that we want to have on this team and or on the active roster or practice squad. The galvanizing stuff, that's cool, that's fun. But these preseason games are about you doing your job, me doing my job, so that we together can find ourselves to some sort of NFL employment for the year of 2025, 2026.
Yes, indeed. Joe Milton has spoke about him and Dak Prescott having great conversation. Dak being extremely helpful and teaching him the system as he's coming over his first season with the Dallas Cowboys. Hey, Jesse, I know that you're a pass catcher. You mentioned it, pass catcher extraordinaire. Since you spoke about that, obviously, I know that you will have eyes on those skill positions, starting with the pass catchers. We all know that Pickens is here. We've seen him make tons of plays. We've also seen his footwork, by the way. Those custom cleats, the heat on his feet have been amazing. Talk about that another day. But just from a football perspective, of all the pass catchers, who are you most paying attention to for the first preseason game?
Yeah, you're probably not going to see CD, right? You're probably not going to see George Pickens. It becomes the battle of now the others, right? Like, it becomes the battle of, all right, Jalen Tolbert. You've been on this roster for a while. A lot of times people try to anoint you as the second wide receiver. Well, you didn't do that good enough, so they went and got George Pickens. That job for you is taken away. But now you have, all right, Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo, Ryan Flournoy, and I'm purposefully leaving off Cavante Turpin. And I do that because I look at, for me, this is just Jesse Holley, I look at Cavante Turpin as a special back. Like, he's not a wide receiver, he's not a running back. He is his own entity. right? And I think that
He's an
offensive weapon, right? So I don't put him truly in the count of battling for a receiver spot. I think there'll be packages that specifically are for him and for him alone, whether that be the wildcat, the running back, or the wide receiver position. So I'm looking at Jalen Tolbert, I'm looking at Ryan Flournoy, and I'm looking at Jonathan Mingo. These are three guys who are all fighting for those positions for game day jerseys. I know that, and there's been a lot of comments about Trayshawn Holden, but again, for him, you got to keep making plays, and you got to make some plays on special teams, because when we start getting down to that fourth and fifth wide receiver, sixth wide receiver spot, ain't many plays for you in the offense. I'm just telling you that right now.
Right.
You got to be out there on special teams.
No question. And one player, and I'm just curious to know your thoughts, and I don't know how much you've been paying attention to him, but he stood out to me when I was out in training camp, and he just happens to wear the number that you once wore, Jalen Cropper. I've seen him out there making plays here and there. Just your thoughts on him. I know he's farther down on the depth chart, but just your thoughts.
No, he's another one who's been around this organization for a while and is looking to take that step. For Jalen Cropper, here's what he has to his advantage is he has the speed, yes, but now you have a situation where these new coaches, outside of the mandatory guys, right? Outside of your George Pickens and your CeeDee Lambs and your Kevontae Turpins, right? Your big contract guys, your playmaking guys. They're looking, and Shadi's been on record saying this, they're looking for guys to step up and take the opportunities, right? Grab the bull by the horns. And so if you can get out here in these games and Cropper representing the 1-6 to go out there and do some special things. I mean, we've seen Brian Schottenheimer go, right, this guy's earned himself some more reps, in the rotation. So go out there, make plays, leave a lasting impression on your coaches, and find yourself creeping up that depth chart. And now next week when you go into practice, coach is like, you know what, man, you made some great plays out there last week. Let's get him in there on a couple of these number two, in the second group and get him in that rotation. You go out there in the second preseason game, you do some more plays. Hey, let's see if we can't find this guy some more plays. So for a guy like Jalen Cropper, you got to be able to take what you've done in training camp. This is important because training camp heroes, we've all seen them. We've all had all pro training camp players. If you've been around this game long enough, you can name guys who we've all seen in training camp like, man, that dude is out there balling all pro training camp, getting to the games, and he's all poo-poo, right? So you got to be able to have the game translate from the practice field, the meeting rooms, into the live bullets flying. That's when you get the attention of the coaches, and that's how you move up that depth chart.
Well, I know one thing's for sure. There will be a player probably named Jalen making the team, whether it's Cropper, Tolbert, or Brooks. Okay, enough of the pass catches for a second. I know you guys are divas, even though you don't always want to admit it. And you guys are dependent on other players to get you the ball. Anyways, okay, we talked about the pass catchers. Obviously, we discussed Micah Parsons, but defensively, we know that things have changed on that side of the ball. You have a brand new defensive coordinator. You have different schemes, different things you're working in. On the defensive side of the ball, what should we expect to see on that side, seeing that they're missing the best player?
Let us pray.
Uh-oh.
Let us pray.
I stumped you?
Let us pray. No, it is. I mean, the things that we have to look for on this team, the things that we've consistently talked about over and over and over again. Will the Cowboys be able to stop the run? That's the question. That is the question. I know that Mozzie went out of practice the other day. Don't know if he'll play in this game. Hope he plays in this game. Needs to play in this game. What is Osa Diggy-Dua going to do now that he has his new contract? You have they brought some veterans in, guys like Peyton Turner, guys like Solomon Thomas and Perion Winfrey is having some good plays at training camp. But again, and I know that Shadi said it's just practice. I wouldn't read too much into it. This is all I have. This is all I have. This is all that I have to read into. And in practice, the same issues persisted with the Cowboys run defense. So my eyes will be glued to the trenches for the Cowboys run defense. Are you going to be able to show yourself worthy enough to stopping the run? That's going to, and that's not a Jesse Holley question. The league is a copycat league. The league is a league of, I'm going to check to see if you corrected the things that we all know that you are suffering in. That's going to happen preseason game number 1. So Jay Toya, right? 330 pounds of all human being. Are you worthy enough to get the reps at that one technique, to be able to be a run stopping, clogging dude in the middle? That's going to be what we see. And then, of course, it's going to be inside and it's going to be outside. Are you able, with all the injuries from the DB position, who's going to show up? I doubt Deron Bland makes an appearance in this game, but Troy Pride and Keemon Hall and Kalen Carson and Izzy Mukwamu, like all of these guys and others, all of these guys will have to step up and have an opportunity to make plays. Thank goodness they won't have to go against Devontae Adams because he baptized them all Tuesday afternoon. But these guys got to show up as well because these are the two areas where the Cowboys have been suffering and they have not truly put an answer to it.
So many questions, and we will have some answers when we see the Cowboys play on Saturday. Still, it's just the first preseason game, so fans don't get too high, don't get too low, because there are a lot more games left to play. As of course, we're right here, Jesse Holley and Parrish. Bleav in Cowboys, FanDuel Sportsbook. Thank you so much for showing us love. Now, the bigger picture. Now we know we have a brand new coach. Coach Schotty's in the building.
Yes.
Just as far as the way he controls the flow of the game, are you looking for anything specific from him as far as him being a head coach now?
Yeah, I am. And I think Coach Schottenheimer, and I say this because I think Coach Schottenheimer slightly showed his hand a little bit the other day. And maybe his maturity at times with being a head coach. Because, and here's how I break things down. I break things down by what I actually know, what I'm able to gather from others, and then what you actually say, right? Like what I know is what I see, what I'm able to decipher, what those who I trust are saying about the situation, and then what the actual, to use a Jerry Jones term, what the principal is saying. And here's why I say that we may have seen a little bit of the hand being shown by Brian Schottenheimer that may have shown just a tad bit of immaturity. Was Brian Schottenheimer has talked about we're going to be a physical running football team. He said it since the day that he got this job. Now, I don't think that he's put all the places, and it's not all him, put all the pieces in place to be a physical running football team. But you had the opportunity to pad it joint practice against the Rams, and then Brian Schottenheimer came to the podium, and he uttered these words. He said, I kind of went off script. I got mad, and I threw the bomb. Right? He said, we were kind of taking a little bit of a butt kicking. And I went, because he and Sean McVay, they talked about and scripted this thing out, how practice was going to go. And he said, I kind of got off script. And that's the big Bazooka Joe pass down the football field, 70-yard pass down the football field. But Brian Schottenheimer said, I got mad. We weren't performing well. We were kind of getting our butt kicked. I got mad. We couldn't run the football. So I said, F it. I'm gonna throw this thing down the field and open this thing up a little bit. And that to me went and had alarms going off in my head, because I do agree that with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and that passing game, that is what you can fall back on, because you have just Jimmy's and Joe's who gonna do what they're gonna do regardless, no matter what the coverage is, no matter who's out there guarding them. But I was curious. Well, I'm not curious, but it was interesting to hear Schottenheimer saying that. So I am going to be watching his temperament in this game. Are you going to be able to stick to what you said? Are you going to be able to be a physical power running football team offensively? And then for Eberflus, I want to see these new coaches that have come in that we've heard so much about. Are they doing things technically that is changing the outcome of what we saw defensively and offensively for this team? So I'll be keeping a keen eye on the game. And then when I go back and do my film review of am I seeing a change in technical things from these coaches? And what is the temperament of Brian Schottenheimer as he works himself through this game and through his philosophy?
Temperament as a head coach is so important. You got to keep it cool, got to keep everything on an even keel, because we know that this game is played with a ton of emotion. Yes. So as a head coach, you got to keep it together. Of course, Parrish, Jesse Holley, Bleav in Cowboys, FanDuel Sportsbook, bringing this to you. So got to look at the game. And I know this is probably one of the most difficult things to do, but it is what it is when it comes to preseason. Cowboys favored by 2.5 in this game. I mean, it's the preseason. So I just want to know, do the Cowboys cover in this game? Do they cover the spread?
I'm going to say yes. I'm gonna say yes. Because the Cowboys offensively never really had a problem scoring points, right? Like so that part, I think at the end of the day, with I like my chances with Bazooka Joe and Will Greer over Jimmy G and their quarterbacks in this game, and our offense going a little bit more than what their offense can.
So with that said, we'll just go forward and say, okay, 33.5 point total. You're going to go over when it comes to the Cowboys for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over.
Okay. Safe to say right there. We know one thing, as you mentioned, this team definitely should be able to put points on the board. Defensively, there's still so many questions left without answers. I mean, but if you really look at it, like I said a minute ago, there are so many questions, whether we're talking about the quarterback position, pass catchers, defense, secondary, coordinators. We can go down the list. So many questions, and baby, we do not have the answers yet, but we will get one step closer on Saturday.
No, we will. And that's what the preseason games are for. It's to get the answers to the questions that we have, not only for us as fans and as analysts, but for the coaches as well, right? Because they come in with the concept and with the mindset and players' projections and what they want from players, and then they get an answer. They'll go, you know what? What we thought about this player was absolutely correct. What we thought about drafting about Tyler Booker, absolutely correct. It's showing on the field. What we thought about this guy, absolutely correct. We like that going forward. Or they go, what we thought we had at that position, we actually don't. What we thought we were able to do with this group, we actually can't. Now we got to go back to the drawing board. I got to get back with Will McClay and his crew and say, hey, I thought we were going to be able to do something with these guys, but be on that waiver wire, man, looking for guys who may be cut, looking for guys who may be still sitting out there on the market, because we may need to bring some guys back in here. You know, injuries happen every single day. So those type of things are always persistent in the game of football. So those are the answers that we're going to get. You're going to start revealing the answers to these tests that you're having week in and week out. And you're going to have to say, yep, that we were good, that we were spot on with that one, or we need to go back and rethink this test.
No question. Now, last question. The biggest question I'm going to ask you. Before we speak again, does the Micah Parsons deal get done?
I initially put it week 2 in training camp. Wrong. I don't think the next time that we talk, the deal will be done. I think this deal will push itself really close to the first week of the season. I do. I think this deal will push itself to now that you've heard all the stuff, and I don't know how true the conversation is about those two were talking with one another yesterday, but there is, you know, for us to go this long and not have a conversation with anyone, I don't think it would, but I will say it wouldn't surprise me if it does. Like, nothing surprises me anymore now. If it doesn't get done this week, if it does get done this week, it won't surprise me, but I feel like this thing is going to work itself to a place of, because I think now that if they have really started talking, it's David Malogata is going to ask for a high number, Jerry's going to ask for a low number. And there's going to be days that they have to kind of find a way to get to that common ground in the middle. And so that, to me, feels like it's going to be closer to the opening of the season than it is next week.
Unusual behavior right now. Of course, we've seen so many things. Never be surprised with anything that you see with the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to contracts, negotiations, and Jerry Jones. But this right here, haven't seen anything this crazy so far. Hopefully the deal gets done sooner rather than later. With that said, that is our time. Hey, Jesse, last words. You got the floor, my brother.
Man, you know how we say it all the time, man, and each and every time, man. Continue to take care of yourself. And remember, always eliminate the contingencies.
Yes, indeed. Love, respect, and salute.